All right. Greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected and all the viewers are smarter than the average bear. What is going on, guys? How are you? Okay, so, oops. Man, had some very difficult times getting the show started. Sorry, Rockfinners, I forgot to press the go live button, but we're live on Rockfin. Yes, it started now. So yeah, I had real issues starting the show. It kept saying there was an error, and I kept pressing the button and trying different things to get the show started, and it just took me a long time to start the show. Now, what I heard this morning and what was just confirmed is that I can't stream on Twitter until I upgrade to a premium account. Should I do it? I don't really want to do it. I would have done a stream on Rumble. But it takes a little time to set up a Rumble stream. Rumble streams are complicated. And so it's a whole thing. I have to set up the stream as its own entity and then link it to StreamYard. So it was not really feasible or viable. Anyways, I put a message on Twitter, and I hope everybody that watches on Twitter can see it and come over here and watch the show. So we're only live on YouTube and Rockfin today. YouTube and Rockfin. YouTubers, what's up? Hopefully, I see you. I see you, Hamburger, Bella. I see there's Hamburger. Going South says that's a lot of burgers. Yeah, I don't really want to subscribe to X, honestly. Is streaming to X even really worth it for me? That's my question. I don't know. I'm gonna think about that one. I kind of like streaming to X because I do get viewers over there. I tend to get viewers over there. You know, like a good amount of viewers over there. So I think actually people watch the show on the platform. I just don't want to be. I don't want to be forced into paying for it. It's annoying. I don't know. I'm going to consider it, but I'm not sure I want to stream on. I'm not sure I want to stream that badly on Twitter. Who knows? We'll see. Is signing up, is paying for an account going to increase my reach? You know, maybe I would do it for that. I'm not sure. Maybe. I mean, my reach is very, very limited right now. I am extra shadow banned on X. Super shadow banned. Like, I see other people who don't have premium accounts on X. They seem to get some reach. They seem to be able to like make posts and people see their posts. But like, I make posts and like three people see my posts. So I don't know. I think the cheapest one is $4 or $5 a month, William, on X. I don't know. Let's see. Premium is $3 a month for basic. $7 a month. Let's see. Can I stream? It's like 3, 7, or 14. I can afford $3 a month, I guess. Let's see. It doesn't say anything about streaming, though. If I get a basic one, can I stream? That's what I want to know. Will somebody answer my question? Will somebody answer my question? I have to sign up for a whole year, so I got to pay $32. My God. Who has $32 these days? But I spend a lot of time on X, but that's the thing is, you know, I spend a lot of time on X, but I feel like my reach is very limited. I don't know what it does for me. I mean, I get a lot of my news. I get a lot of the things I talk about from X, but as far as like what it's doing for me and my visibility, it's pretty much zero. They refuse to let me get 700 subscribers. I'm at like 697, and I've been going between like 690, 688, and like 698 for like the last 3 months. They're like, no, you're not going to get over 700. Nope. We're just not going to let. I was at 699. I was like, I'm almost there. Then it dropped down to 697. They're like, they're playing these like super childish games with me. Right? YouTube does it too. Like super childish. Like, we're not going to let you get any followers unless you only talk about climate change. Then we might let you get a couple, like 2. But if you talk about other stuff, nothing. It's kind of wild, actually. It's kind of bizarre. Because people who don't even try get followers. Like I see plenty of people that I have interactions with on Twitter. They don't even try. They're not even trying. They're just like, I'm just here, blah blah blah, making posts, blah blah blah, and they, people follow them and people see their posts and they, I see that people are engaging with them. I make posts and it's just like crickets. Nothing. Like no feedback whatsoever. It's fucking insane. Anyways. insane and frustrating. Insane in the membrane. Who seems to post a lot on X? Paul Beck. Yeah, he does. I mean, I see him all the time. It's just a weird phenomenon. Anyways, what are we talking about today? John Glad says heavy rain's coming in a few hours near Chicago. All my rain catchment is full. Well, I guess it's a quality problem, right? We're talking about the loss and the continued loss of butterfly populations. You guys have been seeing that. I've seen some butterflies this year, but I am not seeing not a one bee. And remember last year when I was talking about crickets? Remember I was talking about how I couldn't hear crickets for a long time? It's kind of happening. That's happening again this year. I hear them in certain yards. People with people with the local flora and fauna in their yards, more wild yards that have been rewilded. I hear more crickets, but I hear a lack of crickets mostly in my yard and in my neighborhood. And my yard is not like my yard is not like I'm not like really doing a lot of heavy landscaping in my yard, like whatsoever. Yeah, I don't see any bees. I have some tomato plants that are growing pretty well, and they had flowers. The flowers came out, and nothing got pollinated, so I have no tomatoes, and that is frustrating. Because I've been growing, I have these big, kind of, pretty healthy tomato plants going. I can't get any tomatoes if they don't get pollinated. We're going to talk about Project 2025 and climate change, energy, gobbling tech, and other things. We going to get into it. Yeah. No, my tomatoes were not pollinated. And I don't see any more flowers on them, which is also frustrating. So I'm not sure what is going on. Maybe I need to do something else with them. We don't have any June bugs anymore. The June bugs are gone. Sow bugs are gone. CB says, I hang on my porch in the mountains of West Virginia. Very, very few bugs, but ticks are plenty. Yeah. The soil is too hot. Too hot. Are you talking to me, Shani? Bella, I have one pepper plant loaded with flowers and no fruit. I've got some pepper plants, and the peppers came, but not on all the flowers, but on some. I have a couple different peppers growing. The peppers got pollinated. The peppers grew, but the tomatoes did not. I don't know. We'll start with a little comedy. Tomatoes need cooler night temperatures to go into bloom. Okay. I mean, it's the night temps are not that hot here. That's what's confusing to me. It's not. I have them. They're not getting too much sun or too much shade. It is warm during the day here, but it does cool off. It gets into the 60s at night. So it doesn't seem like, nothing is too far outside of the usual parameters of, I don't know. The soil is not cooling off. Maybe not. Maybe so. Maybe I need to. I was going to replant them into a different spot in the yard, so maybe that'll help. Because they're in pots. They're in pots. So I don't know. I don't know if that would help. If the pots would help them cool off better, or being in the ground would help them cool off better. I'm not sure. Yeah, I have them under a tree. I do not have them in direct sunlight. And I was going to replant them. Replant them in like another shaded kind of area. The ground is going to be the coolest. Yeah. I'm going to. I don't know. I'm going to try and replant them because they've been going for a couple months now. And I should definitely have some tomatoes by now. I mean, it's frickin' July. I should have plenty of tomatoes by now. White fleece type materials. Cover is good to protect soil heat if you don't use straw and such. Okay. Okay. I just want to show this meme because it's funny. That's good. Well, yeah, the art of gardening in extreme heat. And I have been trying to figure that one out for a couple of years because things have changed a lot. Things have changed a lot. I kind of just grow in pots now because whenever I put something in the ground, I don't know what it is. Something in my yard is like extremely toxic. Like nothing, I cannot get things to grow. I cannot plant things in the ground. I even had an apple tree that died. I had a banana tree that died. I had an apple tree that died. I finally got some herbs to grow. I've got some pepper plants in the ground. I'm hoping. I don't. Yeah, the raised beds. Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. Between getting roasted. If I plant something in the ground and it gets any direct sunlight, and we get a couple of hot days, the plants just get like flash roasted, and I can't move them. They're just in the sun, and they just get fried, and they're dead, and that's what happens. And so I have to be very careful where I plant things. So they have to be semi-shady. So it might be, yeah. It might be the water. It might be a whole bunch of things. Oh. Well, I guess one of the upshots to this whole assassination attempt is that RFK Jr. got extended Secret Service. How about that? How about that for movement? And it's interesting that it's interesting that it took something like this, an event like this, to extend him Secret Service protection. I mean, I think it looks pretty bad that they didn't give him protection, and then now this happened. They're like, well, yeah, it's going to look really bad for us if we don't give him Secret Service protection. So that's good news, right? Sledgehammer. Yeah, the fact that it was denied for several months, yes, going south, that's pretty wild. All right. Let's look at the butterfly situation. By the way, also Trump named his VP pick, who, I mean, it doesn't look good. If Trump gets elected, things do not, it does not look good. I kind of fear anyone who get, Biden or Trump. I fear either side getting elected, but I feel like they're setting up, kind of Trump winning with a mandate to, wreck shop. And that is probably not going to be, and I mean, I'm joking when I say probably, that's not going to be a good thing. Where are all the butterflies this summer? Their absence is telling us something important. From The Guardian. And this is coming from Britain, right? Who should have slightly more temperate, more butterfly-friendly climes. Anyone with even a passing interest in the natural world will have noticed a dramatic phenomenon this year, a lack of insects, perhaps most noticeably is the near absence of butterflies. Species that are usually common, such as large and small whites, small tortoiseshells, gatekeepers, ringlets, peacocks, and meadow browns are in many places down to the point of having almost disappeared. Certainly in the case where I live in Cambridge, bee populations seem to be down here too, with flowery margins that would at this time of year normally be alive with pollinators now eerily quiet. Hoverflies are depleted, moths scarce, and aphids have either appeared very late or not at all. Buddleia bushes with their fragrant mauve flowers that are usually festooned with butterflies, moths, and many other insects sit naked of their normal visitors. There are several probable reasons for this sudden reduction compared with typical summers. The weather has not helped, with a cool and wet spring across much of the country suppressing insect numbers, but even with that factored in, this year's sudden drop comes after many years of much longer-term decline. When I was a child traveling in a car during the summer, we've heard these stories. Journeys were accompanied by windscreen collisions with all kinds of insects: moths, beetles, butterflies, aphids, lacewings, crane flies, and more. When we stopped, a clean of the front windscreen was often required as the invertebrate debris overwhelmed the washers and wipers. These days, drivers can cross the entire country and finish their journey with a clean screen. It's true that cars are more streamlined and that some small flying creatures will whiz past rather than being hit, but number plates are still as flat and as lethal as they ever were, and from those, we have some data. Surveys going back 20 years to 2004 reveal a sharp drop in the number of insects found splattered on number plates in the UK. The scale of decline is staggering, with evidence gathered from number plates showing a drop of 78% between then and 2023. 78%. Such findings place this year's sudden insect decline into the context of a longer-term trend and show how erratic weather patterns are hitting already depleted populations. Going back further by about a century, the drop is likely to be far larger still. Dave Golson of the UK's leading, one of the UK's leading entomologists, estimates that insect populations compared with a century ago are 90 to 95% down. Totally believable. That was not caused by one wet spring. It is the result of a combination of factors that include the rise of ever more intensive farming, habitat loss, habitat fragmentation, pollution, and the impacts of climate breakdown. Aside from the depressing silence and stillness of gardens, woods, hedgerows, and grasslands, there are more practical implications. For example, many of our crop plants, including oilseed rape, tomatoes, apples, and strawberries, depend on wild insects to pollinate them. Insects are also the food source of many mammals and birds that are also in decline. In the spring, I also noticed the dawn chorus was much depleted, with one possible reason for that being insect scarcity. Well, yeah. Hey. My dog and my cat are like best buddies. And they're in here scouting the studio. Bella says I need to grow away from pre-1980s buildings. Really? Do say. For why? Yeah. Well, there's absolutely no insects. I'm not driving out in the country at all, but I mean, I remember being a young lad, even driving down the street, you'd get a couple of insects on your windshield. You don't get one. Excuse me. I don't get one. I don't get one insect on my grill, license plate, windshield, not one. There are none. They're going away. Aside from the depressing silence and stillness of gardens, woods, hedgerows, and grasslands, there are more practical implications. Read this already. The present position will hopefully be temporary, but is nonetheless, I don't think it's going to be temporary. It seems a little silly to even think it's going to be temporary. We're talking about climate change. We're talking about climate change, which is getting worse by the day. And probably we're going to see more insect decline if we can see any more insect decline. I mean, they're almost gone. All gone. Hopefully there's a wake-up call about the scale of losses that have taken place in recent decades, with ambitious legal targets set out by the Environment Act, including a halt species decline by 2030 and an international commitment to protect 30% of land and sea for nature by the same year. Is there? It's very clear that the major change is needed now. It is pleasing to see the incoming government has a sense of the challenge in front of us and has committed to positive measures. Oh, the incoming Labor Party? Come on. The Labor Party that is the same as the Democratic Party here, which is basically a right-wing party with a left-wing jacket on. Isn't Keir Starmer basically a labor in name only? A lino? Anyways, good luck with that. We will need to go further, though, including shifting the culture that favors neat and tidy verges, edges, and hedges to create wilder gardens and bigger, better, and more connected natural habitats. And we need to reduce pesticide use more broadly, not only in farming, but in gardens and parks. All that will be needed to not only stem long-term decline, but to create the resilience that our wildlife at present lacks. Okay, I mean, all that is nice. Sure. You know, all of that is nice. I think those are good things to do. A lie, yeah. I don't, a wake-up call to whom? People actually act more asleep. Things are falling apart and people are just like going for it, right? They seem to be leaning in to the destruction. I mean, it's kind of the feeling I get as I make my travels around the Los Angeles area. People are leaning in to not giving a fuck. As if it makes them cool or something special. You're standing for something because you don't give a fuck. Okay. No, actually, that just makes you like the other 98% of the morons out there. It's actually caring that makes you different. It's actually giving a shit that makes you different because there's fewer of those and many of you. Anyways. Found another post on this butterfly predicament. If anybody didn't get the news, we're not on Twitter today because Twitter made streaming only available to those that pay. So until I make up my mind to pay or not pay, I guess I'm not going to stream on Twitter. It's from My World. Not one butterfly at all. Nothing at all. Excuse me. Years in the middle of July. It's the middle of July and every year for 21 years. We've had this massive buddleia. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It should be covered in butterfly. Members have fallen, yes. Here on the small area, numbers have collapsed. Oh, nice. Netanyahu's coming to Washington to address Congress. Activists are mobilizing to arrest him. Well, I want to see that. What's up? Old as Dirt is here. William is here. Some other folks on Rockfin. Denver is here. Let's see. Let's see. Let's look at Project 2025. And climate change. I mean, listen, everybody's like, oh my God, Project 2025 is something that has been a right-wing blueprint for a long time, for decades. So it's not necessarily new. You know, all the things they want to do, like get rid of Medicare and Social Security and get rid of all the environmental agencies and deregulate everything, and, you know, right? That has been a libertarian wet dream since, you know, before Ronald Reagan. So people are acting like, oh my God, here comes the new it's the, you know, it's I don't know what you want to call it, Mein Kampf. It's the new outline of the Third Reich, the Fourth Reich, with Donald Trump as the head. It's, you know, it's the same blueprint they've been working on. And here's the thing. It's not just Republicans. The Democrats help it along too. The Democrats and the Republicans help all of this along. That's why I said at the beginning of the show, it doesn't really matter. Like, I'm afraid of either person getting elected. But the problem is that if you have Trump with a mandate getting elected, then, you know, and being able to kind of ram through, if you have the Democrats absolutely collapsing and you have, you know, a red Senate, red House, and red president, and you can ram through pretty much everything you want to. I mean, you kind of have, you will have like a George W. situation, right, in 2000, where he had a mandate more so based on not just electoral politics, but more so on 9/11. I mean, yes, they had a majority too, but 9/11, you know, gave them carte blanche and a red Supreme Court. Yes, Bella. Yes, exactly. So, but if you have, you know, Trump sweeping in, saying, "Well, I gotta do all the things I was going to do last time." I mean, they'll get a lot done, and by that I mean not good things done. They'll get a lot of bullshit. You know, they'll advance the uniparty fascist cause even further, and absolutely. That is something to be wary of. But, you know, if you think that voting Democrat is going to save you from that, good luck. The Democrats aren't going to win, but I don't know how. I don't know what the answer is. But even if they did win, good luck. They're not going to roll, you know, they might stick their finger in the dike they're not. They're actually going to advance the cause as quickly as the Republicans will. So it's kind of, we're screwed. That's kind of where we're at. Let's look at this from Jeff Berardelli. What Project 2025 would mean for the fight against climate change. Fight it. Are we going to win climate change? I don't know if we're going to win climate change. Popcorn is the answer? Yeah, most likely. Project 2025, a controversial conservative roadmap. I mean, this is not a new roadmap, by the way. I know everybody's like, oh my God, have you seen this? I don't know. Have you seen the last 25 years? Have you been paying attention? Controversial conservative roadmap that aims to guide the next Republican administration calls for for the elimination of multiple energy and environment-related offices and rules, moves that would restrict the government's ability to combat climate change and pollution. Policies promoted under the plan would place political personnel in positions to oversee science at major federal agencies and reduce such agencies' limitations on polluting industries. The project additionally proposes chopping up several agencies. It called for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the nation's Oceans, Weather, Climate, and Fisheries Science Agency, to be dismantled. Yeesh, yikes. Crikey. NOAA is home to the National Weather Service, which the plan says should henceforth focus on commercial operations, as well as the Office of Oceanic and Atmospheric Research, which the plan says should be downsized with much of its climate research disbanded. My God. The plan would also eliminate offices within the Energy Department, a focus on renewable energy. What do we do in the face of this? I don't know, guys. I don't know. I do not know. Plan would also eliminate offices within the Energy Department that focus on renewable energy, climate technology, energy technology. And the Energy Department chapter further calls for a whole of government assessment and consolidation of science, including a review of all the federal science agencies. I mean, I don't know. On the surface, it doesn't sound good. And certainly you don't want these folks overseeing a review of... It's like, actually, this isn't a bad plan. It's just, do you want Trump overseeing this or RFK Jr.? If RFK Jr. were overseeing, like, a systematic review of all these agencies and where they're at and what they're actually doing for climate change and the planet, and right, you might go, oh, yes, we want that. Please, by all means, root out the corruption, root out the grift. But you don't want Trump and the gang overseeing this, Trump and JD Vance overseeing this, because then that means just gutting it all and letting the corruption run amok, right? And that's probably what we're going to see. In addition, with the help of Congress, Project 2025 seeks to eliminate energy efficiency standards for household appliances. Such standards have been a target of congressional Republicans who have made multiple efforts to block or roll back Biden administration restrictions on appliances. Former President Trump is, they, if they had their way, they would probably get rid of air quality regulations, right? So we could all see and breathe the smog again. That's what they want. They want to return to yesteryear, with a Native American man standing on the side of the highway crying. That's what they want. That's true, Gene. Just because they wrote it doesn't mean it will be adopted. You're right. It's a blueprint for what they want. It's not... Yeah. And I'm sure... with the attention this is already getting, I can see the amount of attention this is getting from people on my, regular people social media feed. Right? Average Joe social media feed. That Project 25 has gotten a lot of attention. and people are already up in arms about it. We haven't had an election yet. They already know all about it. They already see it, and they're like, hell no. We don't want this. So it will probably get a lot of pushback before it even gets to be voted on, right? Or to be legislated, let's say. Giga Bane says 2025 is probably a bait and switch. Scare with level 10 and get away with level 5. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They'll get half of it through and call it a win. Right? I feel like I feel like it's true that the left does a better job of pushing forward right-wing policies or enabling them than the right wing actually does themselves. But there are a few moments in time where the right wing pushed that, where they had the football and they just ran downfield. That I can remember: Ronald Reagan, George W. Bush, and the second term of Trump will probably be like one of those moments where, right, the Republicans have the ball and they're running downfield. And that is not a fucking good thing. That is not a good thing. I don't think the Democrats are really interested in stopping them or have any power to do so. I don't know that I trust, that even voting for them would actually, change the course. But if you think that it will, by all means, do what you got to do. This is interesting. Trump has sought to distance himself from the project in the wake of the leader of the Heritage Foundation, the conservative think tank that put it together, controversially calling for a bloodless revolution, which he did. In his own words, said, we want a blood. I mean, people were like, what? Basically what he said, to paraphrase, he said, if the left will just acquiesce peacefully, this will be a bloodless revolution. And people were like, what? Well, what? What did he just say? This motherfucker. What did he just say? Take a nap? Yeah. Well, yeah, sure. This doesn't look good. Trump picked J.D. Vance to be his running mate. And this guy is in the pocket of Peter Thiel and seems to be a corporate technocrat stooge of the highest order. He said he used to call himself a never Trumper, which is interesting. He said Trump was like Hitler, that he hated Trump. He thought Trump was an idiot. Basically, he was aligned with like the Cheney-crats, right? Or the Cheneykins. Right? The Cheney wing of the Republican Party, which is like super, it's all the same. Corporate oligarch right-wing side of the party that hated, supposedly hated Trump. Yeah, exactly. I mean, basically that's what it is. Basically Trump is saying, I'll be the good cop, or I'll be I'll be the Lone Ranger. I'll come in looking like the revolutionary. You just be the corporate stoogey guy on the inside. It's the same thing that happened the first time he was president. I'm going to drain the swamp, but first I'm going to hire the entire swamp. Right? First thing he did when he got in office was hire the entire swamp Don't know if anybody noticed that. The Lone Ranger. Yes, exactly. Lightning rod. He hired the entire swamp. Picking JD Vance is literally hiring the swamp. It's literally like, embracing the swamp creature and just saying, come here, bring it in, big guy. So, whoop-de-doo. Big change there. As usual, time has gone by very quickly. If you're a fan of the show, if you like what we bring you every single day here for free, 99 Monday through Friday, sometimes on Saturday and sometimes on Sunday. If you're picking up what we're putting down and you want to help us continue to make it happen, and you want to support the show financially, there are many ways to do it. There are lots of links in the description box of the YouTube or the Rockfin. That's the only channels we're on today, YouTube and the Rockfin. All the PayPals, the Cash Apps, the Zells, all those are really great for contributing to the show. You can super chat or super ray as well. Actually, I'm like $7 from getting paid out on YouTube. So if anybody wants to give me a $10 super chat on YouTube, I might actually get paid this month. Anyway, so lots of ways to do it. And all the people that already support the show, you know who you are, and I appreciate you. Yes, Obama took in all the people from the Wall Street. Yeah. Exactly. They all play like Mavericks because it plays well on the American storyline. But the whole time, all the insiders are like, we have our money on this guy. This is our guy. We know he's going to take that football all the way down the field. We're betting on it. Google and Microsoft now each consume more power than some fairly big countries. Yay, technology. Hopefully if we get some more technology, we can fix the problems that technology has made. I wonder if having more, maybe AI will fix climate change. Do you think? You think AI will fix climate change? But first we gotta build a whole bunch of data centers that consume energy and water. And then we can get down to the business of fixing climate change with AI. Gigabane says they will spend the power on feeding AI rather than on feeding us if they're forced to choose. I'm sure. Let's look at this just a little bit. Tech giants Google and Microsoft each consumed 24 terawatts or terawatt hours each of electricity, 24 terawatt hours each of electricity during 2023, surpassing the consumption of more than 100 countries, new research has claimed. Analysis by Michael Thomas shared on X claims both Google and Microsoft consume the same amount of energy. As Azerbaijan, which has an estimated GDP of $78.7 billion, Google's 2023 revenue stood at $307.4 billion. So take that, Azerbaijan. Kicked your ass. And Microsoft at $211.9 billion. We also kicked your ass, Azerbaijan. Take that. Ha! The massive energy usage underscores the substantial environmental impact of these companies, but it also serves as a reminder of the sheer scale and the positive impact they could have in leading a more sustainable initiative. Okay, let's read on. Iceland, Ghana, the Dominican Republic, and Tunisia each consumed 19 terawatt hours, while Jordan consumed 20 terawatt hours, highlighting the two tech firms' immense scale. Libya comes in at 25 terawatt hours, Slovakia at 26 TWH, consumed slightly more power. The comparison between entire countries and two single companies highlights the colossal energy requirements of big tech. The consumption also alludes to the environmental impacts of data centers, which are used to power cloud services, including storage and compute. Sorry, my cat is around here on the shelves doing something. What are you doing? 9, what are you doing? Where are you? Oh, also, as well as new generation of artificial intelligence. The significant electricity consumption of these companies calls for ongoing discussions around sustainability and renewable energy adoption. Both Google and Microsoft have carbon-free or carbon-negative pledges by the end of the decade. You know, by the end of the decade. Wait, the end of the decade is pretty soon. Are you going to make it? Do you think they'll make it? And investments in cleaner energies and energy matching have already scaled up considerably, even though they use 24 terawatt hours of energy. With a market cap of $2.294 trillion and $3.372 trillion, respectively, Google and Microsoft currently stand as the world's fourth and second most valuable companies. With the scale of their operations, more akin to an entire nation. All eyes are on them as the world's economies continue to prevent and reverse environmental damage. Okay. Yeah. AI might remove us unless we pull the plug. Somebody could just trip a breaker. Somebody could throw some water on it. I don't know. Mother Nature. What if Mother Nature finds a way to flood some data centers? I wonder. Thousands of people in Houston are still without power. Yeah. Yeah. Strategic sabotage. Yeah. Lightning Rod says the second and fourth biggest companies don't use cash at all. They extract all of your worth. I can't really understand that. Yep. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to mosey on over to Rockfin and see if anything else is going on over here. What's up, Rockfinners? Well, we missed you all on Twitter. If anybody came over from Twitter, the I was unceremoniously blocked from doing a stream, I guess, until I upgrade. Which I don't know. Let me think about it. All right, let's see if I have anybody to thank, and then I'm going to let you all go, and then I'm going to see you tomorrow. Okay. I think that about does it. Guys, thank you so much. Sorry, I have a lot of throat clearing to do. Thank you all for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. And thanks for showing up, hanging out with me every day. And especially thanks for the conversation. I'm going to see you all tomorrow at the regular time of 4 p.m. Pacific. And until next time, peace.